What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comically Boston. Today is Monday morning, weekly nerdy news podcast. I'm your host, Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and stopping on by. And some big news. SAG-AFTRA awards were last night, so we're going to run through some of the winners from last night. There's some news about a Steven Spielberg film, some posters that came out, some rumors, some interesting deleted scenes from Captain America Brave New World that we need to talk about, some projects that got delayed from Marvel, and a DC Marvel crossover coming up soon. Very interesting stuff. But let's jump right on into it, shall we? First up on the docket today, Steven Spielberg has been working on his most recent film, and the prolific director. Rumor has it that this film will be a UFO film, and the cast is rumored to be absolutely ridiculous, and we thought it might have been coming sooner rather than later, but we learned that it is delayed till June 12th of 2026, now meaning that June of 2026 is just as stacked as this June, July of this year's movie slate. And if you're a Steven Spielberg movie fan, and you like sci-fi movies, right around the corner, I believe, and that movie sounds interesting, but we'll talk more about that when we have more information, and it seems like when we get closer to 2026 and we learn more about the cast and trailers, we'll be talking about it. But the next poster is a 4DX poster for Mickey 17, coming out real soon in March 7th of 2025 from director Bong Joon-ho, who directed Parasite, starring Robert Pattinson as Mickey 17. And this getting interesting reviews, not necessarily good reviews, but this poster I thought was cool, so I just wanted to talk about that for a second. Comment below if you're going to be seeing Mickey 17 when it comes out. There was also a trailer last week that came out that was very interesting, but also I didn't necessarily get to see, but it was blowing up around the internet, and that movie is called Freaky Tales, and it's going to have Pedro Pascal playing, once again, a father figure that's protective of his child, whether it's The Mandalorian or The Last of Us or whatever the fuck. He can't get away from it. He is daddy. But Ben Mendelsohn and Jay Ellis are also in there, and set in 1987, Oakland was hella freaky. So that, I think, is going to be funny. I believe the cast is very dense and deep in that as well, and looks interesting. So comment below if I should do a breakdown of the trailer for Freaky Tales. Now this is a rumor, but a good rumor, and then this poster I thought was just sick. In Pirates of the Caribbean, rumor has it that they have struck a deal with Johnny Depp to return for another Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Now this could just be hopes and prayers by the fans, but it was a report that I seen a couple times last week, so don't get your hopes up too much. But if they're going to be making a Pirates of the Caribbean at all, they need Johnny Depp. And if they decide they're going to do a Pirates of the Caribbean without Johnny Depp, I think me and a whole lot of people aren't going to be there unless the trailer for that movie looks freaking phenomenal. But the way movies are made today, it could just be a bunch of people with high follower counts on Instagram thrown into a movie, and the script's junk and the movie's junk, and if they don't have that score from the original movies, the bum 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 bum, right? Like, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That Pirates of the Caribbean theme song is chef's kiss perfection, and Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow is that theme song, right? Like, you can't have one without the other. I mean, I would be upset, honestly, if Orlando Bloom doesn't come back as Will Turner. Barbosa, you know, like, there's certain people that, like, I would want to see again, but if they're not there, it's not the biggest deal, but, like, if Jack Sparrow's not there, that's a big deal. Alright, moving on to Look for the Light. The Last of Us Season 2 has confirmed that it will be coming out April 13th on Max. We will be covering this on the channel for sure, breaking down The Last of Us. I love The Last of Us 1 and 2 video games. I play The Last of Us No Return all the time. I'm addicted every day. I gotta make sure I get my run in. I normally die, but hey, I try to get to the end, and whenever it's the Rat King, it scares me. But if you know, you know. This poster here is of Bella Ramsey's back of Ellie, and she's holding her knife and her gun. Every path has a price. Ooh. But they also released two other posters. One for Joel, Pedro Pascal's character, and he's walking on his watch. I didn't say about the last one, but she was walking on a guitar. The guitar is a big story point of The Last of Us Part 2 video game and maybe the season 2 of the show. And then a character we haven't met yet in the show, but video game people will know that this character is Abby, and she is on a Firefly medallion, and she's holding a gun, and she has a braided ponytail. And I believe the actress here is Caitlin Dever, and she's going to be playing Abby. And if anybody sends Caitlin Dever death threats because she's playing a character in a TV show, I will find you and hurt you. Because poor Laura Bailey got so much hate mail because of The Last of Us 2 and the way that the game goes, and it's controversial, but doesn't mean you send death threats to the actress for acting her ass off. And luckily she won awards and stuff after the fact, but still, it doesn't take away the fact that these people were threatening this poor lady's life. Like, Laura Bailey, you're a fucking legend, and you will not be threatened over on this side of the country in Boston. Let me tell you what. So The Last of Us will be coming in April, and we will talk more about that then, but Reacher Season 3 is out for us Reacher fans out there. I am yet to get to Season 3, but that came out February 20th, so a few episodes of that are out. Alan Ritchson, well, there's a T in there somewhere. Alan Reacher here. He is looking strong and beefy and buff as always, and his Reacher character is just a big, giant moose of a man. And yeah, I'm going to have to finish that show along with White Lotus that just came out recently. I've been trying to catch up and do a rewatch before I do a breakdown series of the Daredevil stuff before Daredevil comes out, but that's next week, so comment below if you want some breakdowns and some recaps on some Daredevil stuff. If you don't, oh well, maybe we'll just do breakdowns for Daredevil Born Again. Reacher, White Lotus, comment below. Are there any other shows you guys are out watching right now that have come out recently and that I should check out? Comment those things down below. Christopher Nolan's Odyssey is getting casted, the cast just keeps getting deeper and deeper and huge, and this movie's going to be as crazy a cast as Oppenheimer, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's as good a movie. It's probably going to be 3 hours knowing him. But we get our first look at Matt Damon playing Odysseus. So, big character, Odyssey, Odysseus, you know, biggest character, one of the biggest characters in the book, I'm guessing. Matt Damon's going to be helming this role, and I think this is also kind of a fake out. I saw on the internet that, like, oh, Odysseus, they're putting out this picture because it's like, oh, he's Odysseus, he's Odyssey, whatever. But there's another character that they think Tom Holland's going to be playing that might be the character that's the main character from the book. And if so, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, John Bernthal, there's so many people in this movie that it's impossible to name them all. But when that movie comes out, it's going to be ridiculous, I promise you. So some interesting news for anybody that is a fan of the Avatar: The Last Airbender. A sequel series is in the works titled Avatar 7 Havens. And it is 2 seasons, 26 half-hour episode seasons, much like the original show, following earthbending twins after a world-shattering disaster where one of them discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra. And the original creators, Brian, I'm not going to even attempt to say that last name, and Michael Dante DiMartino are returning. So the original creators returning, 26 and a half episode seasons, earthbending twins as Avatar. We've only ever seen the air and the water avatars, right? And fire, I guess, from Avatar Roku. We've never seen an Earth Avatar, other than maybe Avatar Kyoshi, but we didn't see her a whole lot, right? And she definitely wasn't the star of the show, so interesting. And I mean, if they want to bring back, you know, the older, you know, Aang and all them too, I wouldn't be fucking mad. But the official logline for Avatar 7 Havens reads, "A world shattered by a devastating cataclysm, a young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra. But in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Hunted by both humans and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the 7 Havens before civilization's last strongholds collapse." So kind of like Avatar Aang's story, where he's got to defeat the Fire Nation before they take over the 7 kingdoms and whatever. I kind of dig that just the things that we're hearing about this. Like, I am interested. And if Aang and even Korra, any of those are there, I'm interested. I always loved the Avatar stuff. I even liked the Avatar stuff that was the Netflix live action version. But if they're going back to animated show with the original creators, I'm not mad. Speaking of animated shows that were tremendous, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1 just wrapped, and there is 4 breakdown episodes because they came out in 10 episodes, 4 chunks, 4 pieces. So I have all of the breakdowns in 4 different videos on the channel currently. Go check them out if you haven't, and go check out Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man if you haven't, because the designer, creator of the show, director Jeff Trammell, somebody from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, released interesting Season 2 concept art. And this is what Gwen Stacy shall be looking like for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. And they also confirmed that Gwen Stacy is going to be the Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen, whatever her name is. And her design for that looks pretty damn awesome too. So, banking off of like you're into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Gwen has become one of people's favorite characters, so looks like this Peter in this universe is going to be getting a Spider-Gwen. So is this the Spider-Gwen where the spider that bit Peter crawled away and climbed onto another backpack and we never saw who that backpack got taken away from? Was that Spider-Gwen that picked up that backpack and now she turns into Spider-Gwen? I wouldn't be mad. That's a nice little plot line that might connect later. But go check out Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Really enjoyed that show. Now here are 2 fan-made Fantastic Four posters. First one's from Jackie Wacky DA on Twitter. And this poster is just awesome. I love how they incorporated Pedro, Mr. Fantastic, and Mrs. Fantastic sitting on the couch. Herbie, the Thing. They incorporated the Fantastic Four Tower in the 4. They got Johnny Storm's Mr. Human Torch there. Just a great look. There's also this poster from Mike Posters, and not as good, but just I thought Mrs. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby in the front there looked thick as hell, which I think has to be a reference to the Marvel Rivals Mrs. Fantastic, who's also thick as hell. Memes of that were going across the internet for a few weeks. But let's get into some Captain America Brave New World. I saw some people online talking about how bad the CGI on his suit looked in a couple scenes, and you can't argue that in specific scenarios. Most of the time it looks pretty good, but some scenarios you're like, that does kind of look CGI, Polar Express leaning CGI, like, not that bad, but you get my point, like you can kind of tell when it's not real. But this image here clearly states and shows that this helmet that Sam's wearing, his suit that he's wearing, is a real suit with real textures. And we need more suit ups, suit offs practically done, right? Like with him landing, taking off the helmet, throwing it on the ground, that type of thing. Like, it doesn't all need to be nanotech and it goes away, CGI. Like, I think we all missed the way that the Iron Man 1 suit looked. You know what I mean? Like, just looked real, looked tangible, looked like you could go and step in it and you hear the little mechanical movements moving as you move, right? Like, things need to feel a little bit more tangible for this Captain America, I think. But there's also rumors that the director was teasing that the original post-credit scene for Captain America Brave New World, and the one that we got where the leader is going, oh, there's others that are coming. The others that are coming apparently are referring to the Illuminati, which we learned a version of the Illuminati in Multiverse of Madness. But I thought that was very interesting that Samuel Stearns has knowledge of the Illuminati out there somewhere, but they didn't want to say it. And then there was also, I didn't realize, because I wasn't looking at the trailer this in-depthly towards, and thinking about this stuff, but in the movie, these scenes of a funeral happening in the Captain America Brave New World trailer are not in the movie, which is kind of false advertising, kind of bullshit. But if it was in the trailer, so at some point in time, recently, they were thinking about putting this in the film. And they were also, like, trailer footage coming out of, like, the leader in a Uncle Sam red, white, and blue top hat and walking through a crowd. None of that happens in this film. So why did they cut it out? But also, who died, right? Like who died in this deleted scene, this post-credit scene, or whatever it was. Did Sam initially have to kill the Red Hulk? Did the Red Hulk die? Did his heart fail and Harrison Ford dies? Does Joaquin die? Right? Like, because he's not standing next to Sam in this. But also, why isn't Sam front and center? Sam's behind rows of people. He's, like, standing in the back. Like, you're Captain America. Why wouldn't you be up front if it was your friend or somebody you knew? So, like, who died here? Comment below if you have any rumors, or not rumors, but, you know, any guesses on who died or what these deleted scenes could be or why they deleted them. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them down in the comment section below, or send them to me on my other social medias. But some very interesting news recently of delayed projects that were Disney Plus projects from Marvel Studios. They're pausing development on Nova, Strange Academy, and Terra Inc. series for Disney Plus. And the series may still come to fruition at some point in the future, but it's not looking too great. But Strange Academy, that's gotta be like, you know, Wong and America Chavez, maybe Doctor Strange, you know, teaching younger kids sorcery of some sorts. I mean, they did have this picture of like these young kids all with different powers, and I mean, it looks like one's a frost giant, looks like one's a fire person, an ice person. Another girl over here has like fire in her hand, you know, so maybe this is leaning us towards like a Young Avengers. Maybe they start with Strange Academy and we get like the wizard side of the Young Avengers, and then you go and grab Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, you know, Kathy Lang, whoever the other Young Avengers are. I know Brandon Davis is incredibly sad that Nova's not coming. I still think it might, and I think, Brandon, you are my fan cast. I mean, I don't have anybody else that's fan casted for this. And you know the most about the characters. So, in my mind, BD is playing Richard Rider or Sam Alexander, whichever version of Nova he wants. But he's the only person in the world that I know is mostly upset about this. So, condolences to you, BD, that Nova is not a series coming sooner rather than later. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But the last one was called Terror Inc. And this image was put out there, and it's like a zombie with a gun. I mean, I don't know what Terror Inc. is, but it sounds like a maybe dope, maybe special presentation that could be kind of like a Werewolf by Night Halloween special. I mean, the Marvel, they do seem to be wanting to lean into the horror elements a little bit more, and I don't mind that, because horror movies, although they might not be my favorite thing to watch, they do make for entertaining, compelling movies, keep you on your edge of your seat, keep you scared, keep you guessing, but they keep these eyeballs locked to the screen, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I wouldn't be mind if they leaned in a little harder to horror elements. Alright, just a couple more topics and then we'll close out today's show. Spider-Man 4 and director Destin Cretton, which some people forget was confirmed sometime last year, that the Shang-Chi director is now working on Spider-Man 4, which to me still means that we're going to be getting some really dope hand-to-hand action fighting with Spider-Man for this movie, and I can't wait to see that. But Sony definitely wants this movie coming sooner rather than later, so rumors around this movie have been circulating. One rumor that came out last week that I think is very interesting is that the main villain for Spider-Man 4 might be Mr. Negative, Martin Lee, which is a great character and a great villain from the Spider-Man video game. And he was Spider-Man 1, I believe, video game from PlayStation 5. Really, really good villain, but then he comes back as, like, you know, Miles's, you know, tormentor in the second game for Miles, and then in Spider-Man 2, he comes back and he's like got a different role, but like, you know, it just shows how characters can grow and evolve over multiple games. Either way, Martin Lee with Destin Cretton, Spider-Man, maybe Shang-Chi, Spider-Man Shang-Chi versus Mr. Negative, heading into Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. I would not be mad at this movie at all. But we don't know anything else about this movie, so all this is rumors. But comment below, what would you like to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man fight against in Spider-Man 4? I think Mr. Negative would be very interesting to see in live action. But there is a new poster out for Superman's iMax poster, James Gunn's film for Superman, coming July 11th, 2025, and this shot for iMax just looks so good. Superman soaring up over the planet with the cape flowing in the wind. Oh, The colorway of Superman, honestly, the blues, the reds, the little touch of yellow, the giant red cape, oh, like it really is doing something to me. Like, I was never that big a Superman fan. Maybe it was because of Henry Cavill. I liked him, but I didn't necessarily love the suit or like the dark take on him. Those movies are fine, but like watching the Christopher Reeve one, even the one that from my childhood, Superman Returns with Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, like I loved that as a kid. Most of the things that I loved about it was that it was a blue suit with the reds that popped, but even that suit didn't have a pop of red. It was kind of like a maroony red. Like this seems like a bright red, a bright blue, bright pops, yellows. It looks like it's going to be colorful and amazing. iMax shots, you get that extra stuff on the screen and on the edges. I can't wait for this movie. I might have to go see this movie in IMAX opening weekend. Like, might not have an option to do anything else. Because James Gunn is over at DC and we got Kevin Feige over here at Marvel, DC and Marvel has confirmed that a crossover comics, not necessarily live action, don't get too excited, but a comic crossover that happened back in the day but hasn't happened in a long time, shall be coming out, I believe, with 2 different issues later this year. So coming in 2025, Marvel and DC crossover. Maybe we get to see DC versus Marvel, or maybe it's one of these things where Spider-Man teams up with Superman. Like, that would be fucking cool. Like, some people think, the DC Marvel need to be separate. And that's how they sound. To me, I would think it would be so cool if Spider-Man interacted with Superman, or if Iron Man interacted with Bruce Wayne, right? Like, they're kind of similar. You know, like, maybe Batman goes, I could have built a suit of armor that flies. Like, you know, like, he ponders to himself a minute. It's like, I have as much money as he does, and we're both smart, but he built a suit. I built a bat suit for fear. This guy just built a friggin' homing missile to fly around in. Like, it would be cool to see them interact, no? Comment below. Would you go and get a DC versus Marvel or a DC and Marvel crossover comic? I know I will. But just to end out today's show, let's talk about the SAG Awards. The Screen Actor Guild Awards were last night, and good show hosted by Kristen Bell. Nothing too crazy. They started out the night though with the Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and Kieran Culkin won again for his role in A Real Pain. But this was the first speech of the night, and it was hilarious because he like runs up there and he's like, oh shit, I should have wrote something. What do I say? And he spent like his first 2 minutes without even thanking anyone. He just was making jokes and shit, and he's like, holy shit, this thing's heavy. He goes, of course, this one's like, is given to us by the actors. It's not like the Oscars or anything else. Given to us from other actors, and us actors are like, this needs to be heavy. Hilarious speech. If it's online, go watch Kieran Culkin's speech from the SAG Awards last night, which we're streaming live on Netflix, which I thought was hilarious too. I was like, okay, Netflix, what's good? The next one that came out was Best Actress in a Drama Series, and Anya Sawai won for Shogun. Of course she does. She's won pretty much for everything. Like, Shogun's won all of the awards. And she looked so beautiful last night. That red dress, her smile, the earrings popping. She just is one of those women that every time I see, I am just so captivated with her beauty. It's like, holy Christ, Anya Sawai. Stay gorgeous, honey. Then also for Shogun, Hiroyuki Sanada won for Best Actor in a Drama Series. Best Actress in a Comedy Series went to Jean Smart for Hacks. Yeah, that one's been winning. She wasn't there to accept her award though, which was funny. And normally at all of the awards is Steve Martin and Martin Short. Best Actor in a Comedy Series, which normally does not go to Only Murders in the Building, went to Martin Short, and Martin Short wasn't there. And I was like, oh my god, his speech would have been hilarious if he was actually in the building. But of course, the one time he didn't go to an award event, he won. So, damn it, Martin. Best Actress in a TV Movie or Limited Series went to Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer. My mother watched that show. She said her character is like a stalker, and it's crazy and it's wild, and the show is crazy and wild. And so she probably deserves to win, but I think Best Actress in a TV Movie or Limited Series should have gone to Kristen Milioti for Sophia Falcone in The Penguin, because her counterpart, Best Actor in a TV Movie or Limited Series, Colin Farrell, did win for The Penguin, which of course he did. And then after Colin Farrell's speech, Jane Fonda got given the Lifetime Achievement Award. And Jane Fonda is still just as fiery and spunky as she was the day she was born. You know what I'm saying? Like, that lady's a friggin' legend. And just a quote that Variety put out from her speech: woke just means you give a damn about other people. And anybody out there trying to use woke as a term of, oh, it's woke, I'm not going to watch that show. I had a commenter comment on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, an animated show projected towards kids. And he goes, it's woke, not going to watch it. So he claimed it was woke, hadn't seen it, and then didn't watch it because it was woke. What? Like, you guys are so retarded using that word like it's something that ooh, you're woke, ooh, clutch your pearls. Like, you guys are fucking retarded. Jane Fonda is so right. Woke just means you give a damn about other people. Oh, that project's woke. Why'd they put so many Latinos and black people and other people in this fucking movie? Maybe because white people have been the only people in cinema for fucking hundreds of years, and it's time to fucking actually show what life looks like rather than what people think it looks like. Like, if you want only white people around, go to fucking Iowa or Missouri, one of these bullshit places in the middle of the country where they think Trump is their fucking savior. You guys are all retarded if you think that man's doing anything for you. He's doing everything for himself, and that's it. I'm with Jane Fonda. I'll get arrested at rallies and doing whatever the fuck to progress humanity forward, alright? Like, we'll brush on past this. Congratulations to Jane Fonda for her Lifetime Achievement Award. But a movie that's winning because it's different and it's woke. Amelia Perez won again. Zoe Saldana wins for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actress in a Supporting Role. And she killed it, that movie, and Amelia Perez didn't win any other awards throughout the night, which I think is appropriate. Zoe Saldana should have won for her performance. If they're going to give it to Zoe, they're going to give it to Kieran Culkin, that type of thing. Those two performances deserve it. But do the movies, like, is A Real Pain or Amelia Perez the best movie? Not in my opinion. And Best Supporting Actress in a Supporting Role should have gone to, like, A Complete Unknown, Joan Baez, I think Monica Barbaro, I think is her name. You know, but like things like that. Like, there's other actresses in other movies that deserved it too. Zoe did a great job. Kieran Culkin deserves it, but I don't feel like A Real Pain deserves it, right? Like, in that category was stacked too, you know, so it's wild. But then Best Ensemble in a Drama Series went to Shogun, of course it did. Best Ensemble in a Comedy Series went to Only Murders in the Building, which I was like, whoa, that normally goes to The Bear or Hacks or somebody else. Only Murders in the Building, wow. Congratulations to them. Now I'm going to have to go watch that show. And then Best Actor in a Leading Role with a stacked category. I mean, The Brutalist, Adrian Brody definitely thought he was going to win again because he's won a couple of the other shows. And I believe there was also like Rafe Fiennes for the people that want proper pronunciation. Rafe Fiennes was nominated for Conclave, didn't win. There was Coleman Domingo, right? Like, there was a very stacked category, and it went to Timothy Chalamet for his Bob Dylan performance in A Complete Unknown. He's the youngest ever SAG Award winner ever. That's just saying something, because Timothy Chalamet's career is just blowing up on spot, and I love to see it. Good for him. Best Actress in a Leading Role went to Demi Moore for The Substance. Of course it did. That movie is insane. And honestly, the craziest movie I've seen this year, The Substance, for sure. And then the final award of the night, which I thought would have been Best Picture, went to Best Cast in a Motion Picture for Conclave. Okay. The cast was pretty crazy. But if that was like their last one of the night, if they're saying like Best Cast for Motion Pictures, Best Picture, I wouldn't have put Conclave on that list, but those were the awards that they presented last night at the Saga Awards. Shout out to Kristen Bell for hosting. I thought she did a decent job. There was a couple funny, skits throughout the show, some emotional speeches. Shout out to Jane Fonda for being the legend she is. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you would like to support the channel, the best way to do that is by commenting below, liking this video, hitting that bell so you get the notifications and you don't miss future videos and Comically Boston Weekly Nerdy News podcasts on Monday. My name is Bigg Cam. If you'd like to follow my other social medias, links in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. Once again, my name is Bigg Cam, and I'll see you beautiful folks in the next one. Peace!